Again, so today we're going to be discussing low results on ad spend, how to become your team's sourcing hero in 2022. My name is Nikki, and I'm going to be your host for today's webinar. And to begin, let me introduce our senior social media strategist. Her name is Mila Navarro, and she is going to be sharing a lot of insights with us. So if you've been having trouble getting best results on your ad spend, getting candidates to, interact and engage with your ad spend, this is the right webinar for you. And we're so glad that you're able to join us today. So without further ado, I'd like Mila to take over. Hi, Mila.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, as Nikki just said, today we're going to go over some of the reasons that you may be getting low results on your ads on Meta. The focus for today will be on mass recruitment. So when you have to hire a lot of people and you have to get a lot of leads to get to your hiring targets, but the ad spend that you're currently investing is maybe not giving you the results that you wanted, or you want to get more results for the same ad spend. So let's get started. If you have any questions, please, you can use the Q&A box and type out your questions, and I'll be answering them at the end of the session or as the topics roll by. So let's talk first about your experience with social media. I'm going to launch a poll right now that you'll be able to see on your screen, and I want you to vote. Have you ever sourced candidates via social media? The first answer is yes. Most of my candidates come from social media. Yes, around 30 to a half come from social media, or just a little bit, or maybe you're sticking to job boards and traditional methods for now. So I want to see the experience of everyone here. Okay. So I'm going to show everyone the results. I think you can see them actually live. So most people here, 64%, 65 now, are sourcing 30 to 50% of their hires from social media. And then in the second place, we have people who are, really getting most of their hires from social media with almost 30%. And then a few of you are only getting started with ads. Okay, pretty cool. Now, for the ones that answered yes, there's another poll on screen right now. Which platforms do you use the most? Do you only use Facebook? Do you only use Instagram? Only LinkedIn? Or all of the above? Or maybe just Facebook and Instagram? Where are you currently using that ad spend? Okay, most people for now have used Facebook only. Interesting. But it's actually tied with all of the above. So, all of the above is winning now. 43% of people use all of the above. Facebook only is catching up. Okay, I'm going to give you a few more seconds to vote because this is really tied. All right. So I'm going to end the poll. Most people are either advertising on all of the social media above or on Facebook only. Very interesting. All right. So now that you've seen the results of this poll, you can already see that around 84% of organizations are already recruiting via social media. So this is a question of competitiveness. If you want to stay competitive in the talent market, if you want to get the results that you want and get to the talent pools that you want, then social media really is the go-to place to compete in today's talent market. It's a standard already. 73% of millennials found their last job on a social network. And 59% of companies found high quality candidates on social media. So it is a myth that on social media, you can't get the same quality of candidates that you can get, say, for example, on a job board, but the candidates are different. And we'll talk about that in a minute and how you can get the most out of your social platforms. So If you're not sourcing for candidates on social media, you are missing out, because social media recruitment has now become a core skill for recruiters. So being able to understand sourcing also on social media, and being able to understand how to be critical about the ads that you are using to source your talent is a core skill that is very on demand for recruiters and is very on demand on the market right now. The reasons being that, first, social media really is the place that you know that candidates will spend some time daily, especially if you're targeting candidates from 18 years old to 45 years old. This is an age group that, almost around 90% of them use social media daily, at least for some time. So you have many chances of these candidates being exposed to your brand and of applying to one of your job openings. And then we have another big advantage of social media that job boards cannot give us, and is that social media allows us to target both active candidates, which are the ones that are actively looking for a job, which are the typical ones that we will find on job boards, but also passive candidates. Passive candidates are people who are not currently looking for a job, but who would consider an offer if it was in front of them and it was attractive enough. So this is 70% of the workforce. So it's a lot of people that you're able to target and that you're able to have a chance to recruit and source as well. Let's talk about what makes for a high-performing ad. So when we talk about what is going on with your ad spend, I have to say something and be really clear. Just because you spend more money doesn't mean you're going to get better results. Although there is a relationship, obviously, between how much dollars you give Meta, for example, to advertise your ad and how many leads you're going to get, because the reach is going to be higher. If your ad isn't high quality and if your ad is not configured properly, it doesn't matter how much money you throw at it, it's not going to get you the results that you want. So today I want to help you to be critical about the ads that you're creating and just analyze if the ads that you have right now are actually giving you the results they could for the ad budget that you currently have. So today is not going to be a class about you spending more ad budget. You can always adjust, depending on your need, of course, but it's just about how to make sure that your current ad budget is giving you more, okay? So let's start with what makes an ad good on Meta. The first thing, and I would say around 60 to 70% of the success of an ad relies on the creative. So good creative makes a good ad. The first thing that your creative needs to be is tailored to your audience. What that means is that you need to understand who you're speaking to. I highly recommend, if you don't have it already, to create a candidate persona. A candidate persona is basically an archetype or a general semi-fictional persona that you can use in order to represent a good large portion of your candidates. So for example, if I am a BPO that is targeting young college students, and really most of my branding is around being a very fun place where you can, meet lots of people your age and where you have some flexibility to, go to your classes and be an active student while also earning an income on the side, then everything in the creative needs to target those candidates, right? I have to make sure that the images are of young people having fun, and I make sure that the copy, the ad, everything is communicating fun, engagement, all of these characteristics that make your brand what it is. On the other hand, if I am, say, a healthcare BPO and I actually want to hire people who are a little bit more mature, who have maybe a bachelor's degree, who, for example, have a little bit more experience, who are more, put together, more business, more corporate, then my ad needs to be tailored to those people. Not just that, but it's really powerful when you're able to mention something in your creative that is something that your candidates want. So if you know that, for example, the people in the second example, the healthcare candidate, is really motivated by becoming a manager eventually, if you mention, for example, that you have a fast career progression towards management, then that person is going to be much more likely to click on that ad because you're speaking directly to their motivations. So that's one tip that I want to give you. Try to make your ads, your creatives, tailored to the interests and motivations of your audience. And of course, be really cohesive with who you are as a company, what's your brand, and who you're speaking to. And make sure that that is actually coherent with your targeting and everything else. Second thing about the creative, it needs to highlight the benefits of the job. There are so many ads out there and so much content. You all know it, you've all been on social media, and you know that we're constantly bombarded with lots of messages. So we really need to make sure that our creative is attractive to the candidate. You can think about the candidate almost like as your customer in a way. So everything needs to be centered around what they want, what they're attracted to, and what is in it for them, okay? I've seen a lot of ads that really focus a lot on what the company needs at the moment, and that's good, and we'll get to that in a moment, but it's also really powerful if you include the benefits that you offer, especially if those benefits are attractive to your specific target audience. So going back to the example of the students, if one of your benefits is, for example, a flexible working schedule, then that's something that you're really gonna want to highlight because it's going to attract the right people to your ad. Then you need also an ability to help candidates self-filter. This means that if you have a non-negotiable requirement, something that really a candidate cannot continue the process if they, for example, don't speak a certain level of a language, or if they don't have a certain academic degree, then it's good to mention it in the ad itself, because that's going to help you get more qualified leads. And we'll talk about that in a second, why qualified leads are more important than leads in general. But that's really important about the creative, okay? 3 points: tailor it, highlight the benefits, and highlight the minimum non-negotiable requirements so that candidates can self-filter and you get more quality candidates for your budget. Now let's talk about the type of campaign. This is something that I see a lot with some of our clients, but I will mention that lead ads are, for now, the most, the best method for generating massive sourcing results. The important thing about lead ads is to make sure that you have a very short form. For those of you who are already Talkbush clients, all that you will need in that form is the first name, the last name, the email, and the phone. Why do we need to have a short form on your lead ad? Because the longer and the more questions you include, the more drop-off you will have. So all of those clicks are being charged anyway. You are going to have to pay for those impressions anyway. So you really want to make sure that with your ads, you're able to capture the lead instantly. That's why lead ads are so good. When you're scrolling on your feed, you see an ad, a native form pops up, and within 10 seconds, you're able to send your interest to apply to a company. That means you don't need to go to an external website. You don't need to go and fill out a bunch of questions that maybe you're not ready to answer at that specific moment, but you're ready to just give your personal details, and then you as the company can then contact this candidate and re-engage them and lead them to finishing the actual pre-screening in the best possible moment for that candidate. So that's really important. That's why lead ads are so good. Also, they're really cheap. They're cheaper than for example, conversion campaigns, which are a lot more expensive. So I highly recommend that. When it comes to traffic campaigns, so leading candidates from Facebook or Instagram to an external site, for example, your career site, it can be good. I'm not here to bash any type of campaign in particular, but I will say that you need to know that you will not be able to capture the lead. So you won't know that that person actually was interested. You won't be able to have that information of that person unless they finish the entire application right then and there. And also, if your site where you sent this candidate is not mobile friendly, you will lose that lead. So that's a lead that you will have paid for, that you will lose because the person just didn't have the patience to navigate a site that is not mobile friendly, or maybe it took too long to load. So that's why I highly recommend lead ads for making sure that you're getting the most results possible for your budget. Let's talk about something that I see a lot as well, reach and awareness campaigns. These are not optimized for generating leads. They're optimized for awareness, for brand awareness, and they have a place in your strategy. We know that people are a lot more likely to click on ads from a company that they already know. So, it's great if you want to raise awareness, but know that reach and awareness ads that then, have a link to lead someone to an external site, that is not the ideal combination for recruitment. So if your campaign setup right now is using reach or awareness campaigns with a link to an external site so that the candidate can finish applying, I will tell you right now, you're probably losing leads, you're probably losing some money, and that's not the best bang for your buck. So I highly recommend that the type of campaign that you use is lead ads with really short forms. And that leads me to my next point, and it's automation. With great volume comes great responsibility. You need to follow up with your leads within 5 minutes. Some Harvard studies that were done in 2018 say that 30 minutes is the absolute maximum time that a lead will wait before going cold. So before never replying to your messages ever again. So you need to connect. And of course, in our case, I highly recommend Talkbush, which is a CRM that is completely designed for recruitment and for pre-screening. So you need to connect a CRM so that everyone who fills out one of your forms is instantly contacted via email or WhatsApp or message or something, so that they know how to complete your pre-screening and how to complete the next steps in the process. Of course, you will need automated workflows to sort through all of that volume to make sure that you're able to isolate the best leads, to understand which leads are qualified in real time, and to be able to shortlist the best candidates. Why is this important for budget? Because at the end of the day, and we'll see it, in a little bit later in the presentation, at the end of the day, you should be optimizing for hires. So a lot of clients sometimes, when they're just getting started with social media, what they care about is the number of leads that they have. But that's not the most important metric. The most important metric is how many hires are actually coming from your budget that you're spending on social media. And in order to do that, you need to have a system that can tell you, that can track the lead from when they applied until they are hired or rejected or never responded, so that you actually know that you're getting the most bang for your buck when it comes to your ads and that you're optimizing correctly. Okay. Okay, I am going to answer a question. Is it true that a lead ad on Facebook becomes a dark ad? This is the second time this was asked today. Actually, I don't know this. It seems to be that there is a Facebook update that may be causing this, but I'm actually not sure. We're going to have to investigate this. Does anyone know in the audience? If anyone has a clue about whether lead ads on Facebook are becoming dark ads now, type it out in the chat. I would be super interested to know. I'm going to answer another live question. Is there a way to direct candidates in Talkbush landing page if they apply via lead ad without connecting the lead ad in the campaign? Is there a way to direct candidates in Talkbush to the Talkbush landing page if they apply via lead ad? Yes, you can have a candidate apply through a lead ad first. And then if you want to take that candidate through another process, for example, through another set of questions, once you have the lead, you can definitely do that. Every Talkbush landing page, every campaign has a landing page, so you can send anyone to a specific campaign whenever you want, as the need arises. Okay, so yes, it's possible. I highly recommend that you contact your CSM with this question, because they can lead you and advise you on the best way to get the result that you want and to direct the candidates in the way that you want. But yes, that is possible with Talkbush. I'm going to answer one last question for this slide. Are lead ads accessible by those using free Facebook? Well, lead ads are paid ads, so you will need to invest money in order to be able to do lead ads. I hope that answered your question. So Facebook you will use for free. You can have lots of organic content on Facebook, and I highly recommend that your organic content follows the same guidelines that I just gave you for your ads. But in order to have lead ads, you will need to, of course, invest some money in your ad account. Okay, I'm gonna continue with the next part. Candidate experience is really important when it comes to your budget. If your candidate experience is not optimized and you have lots of extra steps and a very difficult process to get through, you will lose qualified leads, and that translates to losing money. Time is money, so you need to make sure that your candidate experience is streamlined and optimized so that candidates can really quickly go from the top of your recruitment funnel and get pushed as fast as possible down the funnel towards hiring. So here is an example that you can see how lead ads work and why they are so good. When we see the ad right on Facebook, right here, I will click on apply now. Then I will have a native form pop up that I will fill out with my personal details. Sometimes they will already be pre-filled by Facebook, and then I will send that. And what will happen is that Talkbush or your preferred CRM will send a message to this person and say, hey, thanks for your interest. Here are the next steps for completing your application. In this case, we're showing here our very friendly recruitment chatbot that can be either on Messenger, on WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, we have Instagram, we have lots of options. But that's what a streamlined candidate experience is. My recommendation is avoid making candidates create accounts in order to apply. So if you send them to another external website and on that website they need to create an account, I'm pretty much 90% sure that you will lose that lead and you will lose the money that it took you to get that lead on Facebook. So one way that you can make the most of your budget is to make the recruitment process as easy as possible and with as less steps as you can for the candidate, because then these candidates will be more likely to turn into hires, and that will mean that your recruitment budget and your sourcing budget is going to work better for you. So now I've given you a few tips on how you can set up recruitment ads. What are the things that make ads good that will, let you avoid some of the common pitfalls. But how do you know if those ads are working? How do you go on your, your ads manager, or how do you ask your marketing team what's going on with those leads? How do you ask for results? How do you evaluate? So I'm going to give you first like the basic rookie level, and then I'm going to give you the advanced and my recommendation for analysis. Okay. Usually we'll start with cost per lead. That is pretty much, you will go to Meta and Meta is going to tell you, this is how much your leads are costing. Okay. And then you will also go to the result rates. So you will see how many times, or what percentage of people that saw this ad actually took the action that you wanted. In the case of lead ads, it will be how what percentage of the people that saw that ad actually filled out the form. If you see that these are very expensive, for example, if your cost per lead is really expensive and you don't know why, and your result rate is really low and you don't know why, you can do two things. First, you can take a look at the quality of your creative. If the quality of your creative doesn't follow the rules that I mentioned, and also it's not targeted, it's very generic, it doesn't speak to your audience directly in any way, then maybe that's it. Or you can go to another metric that you will find on Meta, which is the frequency. The frequency basically means how many times one same person saw your ad. So if your frequency is over 2, that means that a person has been seeing this ad many times. In that case, I would recommend refreshing your creative if your creative is good, but your costs are rising, refresh your creative. Make sure you have several different designs going around at one time, so that they see, you know, more variety, more messages, differences, and they don't get tired of your ads, because that's what makes your cost per lead rise. But now I'm going to tell you the real truth. Okay, what you actually need to be measuring is your cost per qualified lead and your cost per hire. That's what you really need to know. How do you do this? Well, you take the costs that you've been, you know, your budget, what did you spend on social media? And then you need to understand, okay, how many qualified leads came from this ad? And how many hires did I actually source from this specific ad? That is what you need to know for analyzing campaign performance, not just cost per lead and result rate. And one way that you can do this is simply to go to Talkbush, and in the sourcing tab, you'll be able to see where all your leads are coming from. You can also filter by your lead ad ID. So if you have a lead ad ID, you already know, you know, the campaign ID. You can go search for those leads on Facebook and track them throughout on Talkbush, and track them throughout their cycle to see which ones were qualified, which ones were employed, etc. So those are the actual metrics that you should be following. Now let's talk about common mistakes to avoid, common pitfalls that I don't want you to fall into. One second, just taking a look at the comments. Okay. First off, images that look too generic, that look very, very, very stock image, avoid them. It's okay to use stock images. Make sure that the image that you use of the person looks like the target audience that you're targeting. So for example, if you're hiring in APAC and most of your candidates are going to be Asian, maybe, you know, don't use blonde people with blue eyes. Use people who look like the candidates that you're targeting. Make sure that they can relate. And don't make them too generic. Don't use the most generic stock images that you can, and the most generic design. Try to innovate a little bit and be creative. Make sure that it doesn't contain more than 30% of the image and text. That is commonly flagged on Facebook and restricted, and also your audience is not going to get the actual message. Another common mistake is not highlighting benefits and the minimum requirements of the job. You will want to make sure that, and you may be asking, well, if we can't add so much text, then where are we going to say this? You can use several elements of the ad. I recommend that in the headline of the lead ad, you use a benefit or a requirement, a minimum requirement. And make sure that in the copy, you can use the copy, you know, the caption of the ad. You can use videos. If you use videos, then you can have several like slides of text that give your candidate more information. And actually videos do very well right now on the algorithm. I highly recommend, if you can use video content, use it. Reels, stories, all of that will do really well. So it will give you more bang for your buck, probably, to use more videos than images, but it's good to have a mix. Using the same image for all platforms and not having vertical mobile-friendly content. When you set up your ad, Facebook will allow you, or Meta will allow you, to use one square image for everything, but that's not going to help you get the best result. You need to have vertical images as well. So the same design, have it on vertical. Make sure that all of your ads have a vertical and a square option so that Meta can optimize for different devices. And here we just have a quick example of a good ad, a good creative, and a bad creative. Okay, a good creative is attractive, so it's something that will call my attention right away. If I'm looking for a job, we are hiring is going to call my attention, because, for example, for this one, a bachelor's degree is required and advanced English is required. Then I will need to highlight this non-negotiable requirement so that people can self-filter. If I don't have a bachelor's degree, then there's no point in me applying. That means that the people who actually apply will be more qualified and your leads will be more qualified. And remember that the cost per qualified lead is more important than the cost per lead itself. And I'm highlighting a very nice benefit right here. The image is open, it has lots of negative space, the colors are bright, and it gives me a feeling of harmony, and it's good to look at. Whereas here we have a Java developer ad, which has the job requirements, the job responsibilities, a lot of instructions, all of the client. This is something that the candidate doesn't need to know right away. So there will be a place and time, of course, for them to know all of this, but it's not on the creative of the ad itself. Another thing is insufficient targeting, or targeting beyond your minimum requirements. So if you require a bachelor's degree, for example, it's good for you to use that in your targeting. When you're creating an audience, make sure that you can target for your minimum requirements. So if you're looking, for example, for Chinese speakers, then you can target people who use Facebook in Chinese. That is a simple tip that you can use in your targeting. Make sure that you target by language, by experience. So you can use job titles, for example, to target people who have had experience, by education, etc. But if your minimum requirements are, for example, just speaking English and a high school degree, then keeping it open is going to be the best option for you. Don't target beyond your minimum requirements. Target just enough so that you can get enough leads, so enough volume that you can sort through with automation, but also leads that are qualified and that actually match your job description. And of course, there are so many other considerations and tips that can make your recruitment ads more effective. Recruitment ads are kind of an art and science. Facebook is always, Meta is always updating their service, updating the capabilities, the algorithm is always changing. So it's good to always keep up with the trends and keep up with the changes. So for example, for our customers in Talkbush, we constantly get a lot of questions around candidate sourcing on social media and how to make sure that we streamline that process. How do we make it good? And the solution for that we have is the Talkbush Academy, which I teach. So it basically helps recruitment professionals stay on top of social media trends, of the changing landscape of sourcing, and it just gives you practical skills and tips so that you can have the most effective recruitment campaigns possible for your budget. So if you're interested, we offer free 45-minute crash courses available to all HR professionals. You can go to our Talkbush Academy website to sign up for our upcoming courses and to see what offer there is. And the website is www.talkbush.com/academy. Maybe we can add that in the chat. Yeah, there you go. It's in the chat. Nikki just sent the website. So if you're interested in having more content like this, you can go over to Talkbush Academy. Nikki, is it time for Q&A already?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So let's see what we have here. I think you already answered this one that was repeated twice. So Miss Mila, do you recommend lead ads even if it's a dark ad? And I think you said you would like to investigate that before you can give an answer. Yeah. And then we have, can you apply different names on the one account on Facebook?
Can you apply different names under one account on Facebook? I'm not sure what this question is referring to, but if, you can have several ad accounts under one business manager. So if you have one business manager, you can have, for example, one ad account for company A, one ad account for company B, and one ad account for company C. Or for example, one ad account for city A of the company, and then another ad account for another city and another account for another city. That is possible on Facebook. You can have several ad accounts under the same business manager. So I hope that answered your question. And if not, you can maybe clarify what you meant.
Or you can reach out to us, send us an email, and we will answer your question.
Of course.
So thank you. Thank you so much, Mila. That was awesome. That was incredible. And I think it's time for Carla, who is a customer success manager, to give us a small demo about what Talkbush can do for you. So now you have so many candidates that you want to manage. How can Talkbush help you in your recruitment process and help you get the best results from your sourcing efforts? Hala?
Hey guys, good evening. Hi everyone. So yeah, as Nikki mentioned, my name is Carla and I'm one of the customer success managers in Talkbush. And for the remaining minutes of this webinar, I would like to show you what Talkbush do. So what are the services that we are offering and how do we help our clients, the client base that we currently have right now. So just to give you a little bit of a background, Talkbush is a recruitment automation platform, and we help our clients or different businesses in improving their recruitment process. So there are actually three things that we help them. And the first one is build we help them build their talent pipelines. So in Talkbush, we actually have a capability, or Talkbush has a capability to connect to different sourcing channels so that we can extract all of the leads that are coming from your channels and just use one tool in generating the leads. So Talkbush will be your talent pipeline. And aside from that, we also help the businesses automate the mundane tasks. So as we all know, in recruitment, there are a lot of repetitive tasks that we're doing. So that includes sourcing, extracting leads from different sourcing channels on a day-to-day basis. We also send out reminders, scheduling interviews, and following them up about it. So those are some of the tasks that we would like to automate, that we help our clients, so that the recruiters can have more time in doing more important tasks. And aside from that, the last thing is we also help our clients in delighting their candidates. So we provide, or in Talkbush, we help our clients provide a good or better applicant experience. We want the experiences of our applicants or the leads to be as seamless as possible and easier for them to submit their application. So that's it. And currently, Talkbush is already interacting with 10 million job seekers on an annual basis, and we're able to send 10 million messages as well every month. And just last year, or over the past year, we were able to generate 300,000 hires across all of the clients that we have in Tool. And we're also active in 15 countries. So on the next slide, I will be showing you some of the companies or some of the clients that we are working with currently. And some of those accounts or some of those logos might be familiar with you guys. Some might not be familiar with you. So next slide, please. Yeah, okay. So as I have mentioned, these are some of the accounts or some of the clients that we are working with. And if you can notice, the portfolio of these accounts are very diverse. There are accounts or clients that are in the retail industry, some are in logistics, others are from the BPO industry, and there are also some from staffing agency. But one thing that they have in common would be these companies are hiring in bulk. So usually they have like 1,000 to 5,000 hires that they need to fill in every single month. So that's it. And as I have also mentioned earlier, the first thing that we are helping out our clients with is to build their talent pools. I have also shared earlier that we are connecting Talkbush to different sourcing channels so that we can extract all of those leads together. And these are just some of the platforms that we can connect with. So basically, the first thing that we have, or where the majority of our leads are coming from, would be the social media. So we can connect with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and even different job boards such as LinkedIn, Indeed, JobSeek here in the Philippines, which is the most popular, one of the most popular job board as well in the Philippines. Monster, Naukri for India, Seek for Australia. So we have the capability to connect Talkbush or integrate Talkbush with those channels. And on top of that, I would just like to share that Talkbush is on omni-channel sourcing as well, wherein we capture those leads from different sourcing channels, but we kind of standardize their process to make sure that the applicant experience is seamless and easy for them. And aside from that, we also offer a branded AI assistant, whether it's on your Messenger account or your Facebook page or on WhatsApp, that will help you answer questions, inquiries that we're getting from candidates, and even get applications 24/7, even if you're not online. So just to share with you guys the usual journey that a candidate goes through, if you are going to follow the traditional one. So if you can notice, there are a lot of processes in place, like from sourcing to application to screening, assessment, scheduling, interviewing, selection, and onboarding. And the whole process, if you're going to follow the traditional path, will usually take a client or a company to hire one person in 30 days. But with Talkbush, we can actually eliminate a lot of those processes into one. So from like 5 to 8 processes or steps, we can actually bring it down to just 4 or maybe 5 steps. So sourcing, Talkbush, interviewing, selection, and onboarding. And we can also bring down the number of days that it can take us to hire somebody. And aside from that, a good thing as well about Talkbush is we are able to process a lot of candidates at once. So I have been mentioning, or I have been talking a lot about automation, automating different processes, recruitment processes. And this is actually the coolest feature that we have inside Talkbush, and it's what we call Autoflow. Autoflow is an automated feature that can move candidates to the next step automatically as long as they meet certain criteria or triggers. So we're going to set specific parameters, like for example, if you have an opening, if you have a job position that would only accept candidates with 6 months and up experience, what the tool will do is we will be filtering those leads. So everyone who has like 6 months and up experience will automatically be moved to shortlisted. But if they have 6 months and below experience, automatically they can be rejected. So those kind of automated actions we can already do inside Talkbush. And aside from moving them to different buckets, we can also automate the sending of messages. Like for example, if they have been shortlisted or rejected, we can automatically send them a message just so that we can update them about their application status. And another action that we can automate is adding tags or labels on the candidate's profile, just so we can use it as trigger or guides for the recruiters, like for the next step of the processes. So that's it. And I think the good thing as well about Talkbush is we have a built-in analytics tab or page inside Talkbush that can help you track everything. So all of the movements, whether it's automated or whether it's manual movement by the recruiters, you can definitely see it in our analytics tab. And since we are leveraging a lot on social media right now, we can actually track that as well inside Talkbush, whether it's coming from your Facebook lead ad, coming from Instagram, TikTok. Those sourcing channels can automatically or can be tracked inside our analytics page, as long as we are using the correct source categorizations. So that's it. Those are the things or important things that you have to know about Talkbush. But if you would love to know more about it, especially if you're not one of our clients yet, so you can always reach out to us. You can always visit our website, send us a message as well on our Facebook page, and someone from our team should be able to reach out to you. Also, Nikki posted a link on our chat box just in case you would like to do a demo or see more about Talkbush, the different features that we still have that we're not able to show here. So visit that link and we'll see you guys next time.
Carla, before we go, I think someone has a question for you. And the question is there a Talkbush update that would enable us copy a campaign set of questions to another one and copy the autoflow settings of a campaign to another one?
Oh, okay. Great question. So yeah, there is actually a feature like that. But it's not similar to how the copy autoflow configuration works. So in Talkbush, you can already save the questions as templates so that whenever you're going to use it on another campaign, you can just choose from the list of questions that you have already saved inside the tool. But another thing that you guys can do actually is, for example, if you have to create a new campaign with the same set of questions than the previous ones that you've already created, you can just duplicate that specific campaign so that it will copy all of the questions. So those are the two things on how you can copy the campaign set of questions.
Okay, we have more questions coming in. So I'm not sure who's to answer this. So let's see. We've run into a new issue, particularly when manually uploading leads. There have been cases where the existing lead in Talkbush already exceeded the 6 months ownership from its original source. Is there a method for us to upload an additional lead, particularly if it is the most current and if it is originating from a different source? Do you understand the question?
We've run into an issue. So let me can you please confirm if I understand it correctly? So the issue that you've been experiencing would be there's a specific lead already inside Talkbush and you tried uploading that lead again, even after the cooling period, but the system did not accept it. Is that what happened? Oh, okay. Okay. So if that's what happened, I think we'll have to dive into that. So the best way is for you to communicate it with your customer success managers or with your account managers, or even report that to our product support team so that we can ask relevant questions so that we can investigate it. So whenever you guys are experiencing issues inside Talkbush, please always report that to our product support so that we can create a ticket and provide you updates and how to resolve those issues. But yeah, for this particular issue, I think we really need to check like the application ID, what happened with the application, and why the system is not accepting the new lead that you have uploaded. It's also worth checking if the duplicate management system is turned on across all of the accounts, so or on a company setting, which means that regardless if we have activated the duplicate management checker or the cooling period within the campaign is 6 months, if the duplicate management system on a company level is turned on, then definitely whatever happens is the system won't accept that specific application. But yeah, for this user, please reach out to your account manager and then we'll help you resolve this issue and provide you update as well as to how to happen.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mila. Thank you, Carla, this webinar was really wonderful. And I thank you for your support and thank you for your presentation. So guys, we have webinars like this happening every month. We have our events calendar on our website. So just navigate to that section of the website and you see all our upcoming events happening for the rest of the year. So thank you again for joining us and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.